Now, how many ties does a man need? Okay.
That's a $64 million question. You know, ties are one of those things that you can easily develop what I call an an addiction to. And the reason is obvious, because they're, I mean, not cheap, but they're not as expensive as tailored clothing. And so it is one of those things where people purchase whimsically without really thinking or planning. You're walking through an airport and, you know, you sort of look in the window and like, you see something shiny. You see a tie that sort of grabs your attention. Okay, it's $50, right? Or $100. I'm talking average ties. I'm not talking about bespoke ties that can, you know, get or Hermes ties that are $250 or more.
Wow.
Or E Marinella.
Right.
There's E Marinella. There's Hermes. There's ties that will run you $300, $400, $500, right?
Wow.
Easily. So I'm talking about sort of your average ties that, you know, your average person can pick up for anywhere from $50 to $100, right? It's not an extravagance, right? Even if it adds up at the point of purchase, you know, remember, a lot of these things are emotional purchases. So it's like, oh, it's only $50, whatever. Okay. So it's easy to fall into that habit of just sort of accumulating, But I think ideally, one should plan their tie wardrobe as I did, right? Now, not everyone has the luxury of having their ties made for them. Like, most of my ties are bespoke.
Really?
Right? And before I started that process, obviously, I chose a tie maker or two tie makers, and I sort of had a chart. I said, okay, what are your basic ties, right? You've got your regimental stripes, you've got your pin dots, you've got your silk foulards, you've got your medallion ties, you've got your club ties, and, you know, you've got your knit ties. So you break them into sort of, let's say, 5 or 6 categories, right? And for me, it was very simple. I said, okay, I'm going to get 4 ties for each category, or 5. So I ended up with a wardrobe personally of about 25 to maybe 30 ties maximum. Okay. And I haven't bought a tie in 5-6 years.
Really?
No.
Interesting.
I haven't bought it since I finished building my tie wardrobe. I never spontaneously buy ties because there's hardly anything that I need that I don't find inside of that matrix.
Right. So there's actually
maybe I don't have novelty. There. Maybe I don't have the novelty of a guy who's got 100 ties. Like, some people feel like wearing a new tie on the same suit makes them feel like they're wearing a different outfit.
Right.
You understand? Let's say you wear a navy suit every day to work. And for them, expression is wearing, I can wear 100 different ties and feel like I'm wearing a different suit. I don't need to feel that way. So I may not have that breadth of 100 ties I'm wearing, but I have 20 to 30 ties that literally cover every outfit that I need to put together.
Isn't that interesting?
Do you understand?
I do indeed. So regardless what you get in the way of suits or jackets, you've got this amazingly versatile tie collection.
You can ask Captain, right? Captain is the one who, Captain is our media boss behind the camera here. But I mean, since you've known me, I haven't bought a single tie, not a single tie. No. But every look looks different.
Yes, it does. I was going to say.
People say, you look different. You look for, you look different.
Yes, I thought you had a lot more than that.
No. I can walk you to my tie closet. I've got maximum, maybe. And I had to really kind of winnow them down, because when I started out, right, like most other young men, you just sort of, you're picking up ties, you're grabbing here, you're buying them on sale. If it's on sale for $10, oh my God, I have to have 10, right? And sometimes they're cheap ties. So I remember when I decided I was going to do this properly, literally I threw out everything. I kept, except sort of a few that were really nice, right? Maybe when I started this process, maybe I had 50 ties, honestly.
Right,
maybe I had 50 ties, but a lot of them were crap, cheap ties. Right. So I kept maybe 5 out of that original 50. I gave the rest of it, I either gave them away or donated them to Goodwill, what have you. I kept maybe 5, including this one actually. This is not one of my bespoke
that's one
ties.
of your
Yes, this
real
is by
originals.
Bauder Serini, which is Hugo Boss's kind of premium line.
Okay.
But it's a beautiful tie, and it's not cheap, as you can tell. So there are about 5 of them that I kept, and then everything else I had to sort of actually have made. You know, actually had to go to the shop, pick out the silk, and again make sure that it fit that matrix before I commissioned it. And since then, I haven't needed, in more than 6 years, I haven't bought a single tie.
So the way to do it is to be logical and to work out which ties will go with just about everything.
And you have to also figure out your style, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of my ties might not suit you. For instance, you know, like taste tends to be more on the classic. So, you know, no garish, loud colors. I mean, I have some expressive colors, but they're not that many. So the colors tend to be sort of more conservative, like your burgundies, your navy backgrounds, your earth tone backgrounds. And then you can play around with some of the motifs or the medallions. But generally speaking, right, they're fairly neutral in the sense that they fall within a certain spectrum. And that is why they go with everything.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
You know, that is the beauty of having a versatile wardrobe, period. Even with my shirts, if you look at my shirt wardrobe, right, there is some color. But I try to sort of stay with the basics because, you know, you get into problems when you start really reaching out. You know, when you start to sort of overreaching, then you start to sort of have one of those, you know, one of those outfit type items where you can only wear them as an outfit, right? Which is not a very optimal
No, it's
way
not
to build a
not
wardrobe.
very economical either.